in attitude for the teenagers. In recent times, however, the use of the rod has become a thing of the past. In most families, as parents have sought to communicate via the word of mouth, effect of parental care. To reduce the effect of human trafficking in Nigeria, and in Africa, and even beyond, parents have a responsibility to educate their children. When we say educate, we do not mean the conventional ways of schooling. Rather, that they show their children the negative impact of certain decisions in the society today. Unarguably, if children are taught rightly by their parents, there is a high chance that they are shielded from predators, because they can easily tell when they are being deceived. The tricks and vices have been discussed above. If your children are aware of these, they will be conscious of their relationships with strangers. The goal here is to properly educate them. Unfortunately, there are many African homes that lack proper parental guidance. Most parents these days prefer to send their children to boarding school due to the hustle and bustle of the day. Many of them do not create time to raise children who will then be fit for the environment and society. The reason many young adults and teenagers are a victim of these menace is that they did not get the required and adequate law covering protection and care from their parents. In some cases, however, it might have been as a result of death, physical or emotional abuse. In the case of death, no one is to blame, as it is inevitable. It is an inevitable occurrence. Some children miss out on a genuine parental right due to the loss of their parents as childbirth, accidents, sickness, etc. And the thing is, the human mind is structured in such a way that it seeks solace in other things when the primary one falls in its duty. This set of children look out for such relationship in others and sometimes for victims. As for the physical and emotional abuse, the psychological effect it leaves behind affect the state of mind of these children, and ultimately they make rash decisions. Furthermore, parents should always seek to have a close relationship with their children. More protection is guaranteed if fathers are close to sons and mothers are close to daughters. That way, they can always tell a friend, "You, what is going on?" They can always tell a friend, which is you, what is going on with your children. Whenever and however whenever they are in potential danger, there is a high chance they tell you what is going on in their lives, and that in turn it helps you make the right decisions. At times, they might tell you some things spontaneously, which will give you a clue to what is currently happening in their life. Additionally, the future predator who will penetrate this evil are presently children. This is why I am adamant on proper training. We are not oblivious to the fact that children will become adults and still make their decisions regardless. Nevertheless, there is a high chance of reduction if parents play their part according to Jones 2017. Children are less likely to have behavioral issues at home or at school. Children who are spending more quality time with their families are less likely to participate in risky behaviors such as drug abuse usage, showing the children that you love and care for them help to keep them mentally and emotionally strong. As a parent, the best way to do this is to spend quality time with them on a regular basis. In training your children, you should also be speculative of their evil or wickedness tendencies. If you ever notice your child deriving joy from inflicting pain on others, you might need to go the extra mile to curb such negative tendencies. Stop human trafficking. Finally, the goal is to build solid foundation for our infants and children. If the foundation of a building is bad, it will collapse later in future. Hence, children must have a good foundation in their lives. Parents are major partakers of these building blocks, and they must not forget that they are being watched too. It will be deceitful and ineffective if all parents do is talk, act what you say. Curbing greed. Truthfully, the economy of many countries is not encouraging, and many people are in poverty. Basic amenities are hard to get, and even a 3 square meal is gradually becoming a facade for many. This has led to youth partaking in fraudulent activities and all sorts. Nevertheless, it all boils down to a characteristic that prevents greed. The internet today has painted certain individuals and celebrities to have made it within a short period of time. These people, directly or not, have an impact on a large population in the society. They are being hooked up to this and that. In turn, they are being looked up to, and this in turn has shaped the ideology of many. Youth today do not see the need to follow the process of success. Many are unwilling to learn new skills and put them into practice over time. They want to ride the best of cars, live in mansions, and experience luxury at a very young age. This need to achieve all these have led many into the victimization of human trafficking. Youths are ready to do and undo just to get these within a short period of time. I'll be going on a break. Thank you very much. Let's remember we are reading the book Breaking the Silence by Osariemen. Why? Thank you very much. Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Give me glucose. Come on, I'll be there and both for reading the book well. That's what I did.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I've not gone to the bathroom yet, so let me quickly rush this. Thank you very much. Sorry, remind me the name of your school. I read about wow, you guys were not around. Well, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate your presence. Like I told the students who were around yesterday, I think Niger College, Koroti, Imagwero, they were much. So I don't know if you guys are aware that there is a competition ongoing. Good. That was why I told her to tell you guys to wait. So everybody, because we measure on inclusivity, everybody must be included. So there is a current competition ongoing for this particular Guinness World Record attempt. The Guinness World Record, it's nice and good and everything, but it's not our main focus, right? Our focus is building the reading culture of our youth, number one. Number two, saying no to human trafficking, like the book I read this morning by Madam Osariemen White, Breaking Silence. You all know it was talking about human trafficking. And that's a lot of things that our youth have been deceived into. So we are saying no to irregular migration. It is okay to japa, but you have to do it the right way. So also, we are also talking about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. They are 17. How many of you know about it? How many of you know about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals? This is it. That is a big problem. Same thing I asked yesterday, and about the 5 or 6 schools that we are around, nobody knew about it. So it means that our reason for doing this record will achieve it. All of us must be part of everyone fighting for what is right. Now, one of the challenge or the competition is that we are going to be working on Goal 14. Goal 14 talk about life below water. Now, there are 17 goals. Number one is no poverty. It's what the United Nations, they are working on to make sure that by 2030, these goals will be achieved. If you go to other states, most people, they are already organizations working together to make sure that these goals, they are achieved. It's actually happening in Edo State, but we don't know. There are organizations like Genius Hub who actually focus on these goals. So as students, you have to research. When you learn in school, you also have to learn outside. You have your phone. That is why we are organizing this record. Research. Do your right research. Know about the things that are positive happening in your environment. Recognize this agency and partner with them. You are not paying money to join them. Just go and partner with them. So, for the goals, it's not a demand, it's by choice, you know. But I'm proposing that we pick up our phones, research about the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Now, as students in Edo State, I wanted that the next time when you are asked such a question, you can confidently say, yes, I know it. So now, we'll be doing a competition on Goal 14, which talk about life below water. Now, do you know that when you don't dispose your plastic waste, if you don't dispose them properly, it ends up in the water. And when it ends up in the water, like the ocean, your river, it ends up affecting the organisms and the life in that water. You know, there is life above water, which is we, and there is life below water, which are the sea, which are the fishes, the turtle. Now, there are a lot of endangered species. Sorry, I'm rushing this. I'm working on time. There are a lot of endangered species. Number one, the sea turtle. They are endangered species. That means if they die, you are not going to see them again in this world. Just like the dinosaurs. So we have to protect this species. Are you understanding me? Now, one of the ways you can protect the species in the water is to dispose your waste properly. You say no to improper waste disposal. You have to learn how to recycle. You know, you can recycle your plastic. You can make bead from all this your plastic on the floor. You can make art. You can make decorations. There are different kind of things you can make. So, on that note, students, it's not limited to secondary school students, university students, anybody. You should go and design something with plastic. Anything creative. You can start bringing it from now. We are going to assess, and next week, we are going to be awarding winners for best creative design. Design anything. Just look for anything. You can use this plastic that you see on the floor. Pick it up and design something nice. That's one of the things. Then the other one is, there are 3 books that we picked. Return of Amazing is not here. There are 3 books that we picked. So for that amount, for the first one I talked about, we are going on 100,000 for the winner. So, and believe me, there can be more than one winner. So be very creative. If there's more than one winner, you are sharing that money. So be extremely creative. But it's not going to be biased. It's not going to be biased. Now we are working on 3 books. One, talking about our Edo culture. Talking about our Edo culture. This is the book written by the Iyase of Benin. Everything about our Edo history, our culture, our stories, they are here. Get the book and read it. We'll be asking questions from it. You can get information on it after it's here. You can ask my team members. The other book is this book, Not Always Easy, My Voyage from Obscurity. For this particular book, it talks about building resilience as a youth. You can fail as many times as you want, but believe me, there is no excuse for not succeeding. That is what this book is talking about. So that is why I am emphasizing on people reading this book. So that is 2. Number 3 we'll be talking about is human trafficking. I had not read this book as of yesterday when we brought out a book for it. So I'll be adding this book to the collection. This book by Isimeme White and The Return of Amazing. It's inside. You can ask after. So from these 4 books, we'll be coining out questions for students, anybody. You can just pop out. Yes, this is The Return of Amazing. So you can just pop out. So we are dealing on human trafficking. We are dealing on working hard as a youth. You can't get it easy all the time, but if you are focused, if you can think it, you can achieve it. Then we are dealing on our Edo culture and our history. It will really gladden my heart if we can read this book, and when it is publicized, when it is publicized to the whole world, they actually know that the Edo girls, the Edo children, the Edo youth can read, and they can do more than what we are known out there. For this particular aspect, the winner will be going with, I think, 200,000. Yes, so that's what we concluded. So thank you very much. I just wanted to inform everyone. You can as well tell your friends. You might not be the one that like reading, but you have a sister at home that you are like, come and read this book. Next week, you are going to come out and you are going to win this. And it's not about the money. It is not about the money. It is about the zeal to actually put your mind in something and achieve it. Thank you very much. I want to go and pee. Angel is already a president. Oh. Yes. Timekeepers, cue me in. Timekeeper. Corbin Greed. Now, no matter how tough your country is, the next line of action shouldn't be to japa, escape and travel out, as we say these days. If you are so desperate to leave the country due to your greed, you might fall victim. Friendships. As they say, bird of a feather flocks together. It is not enough to have friends. The question is, what kind of friends? What kind of friends do you have? The truth is, just as much as the parents have a vital role to play in your life, your friends have a similar role as the we. Undoubtedly, after your decision making and how you live, generally, my advice is this. Be intentional about your friends. Your friends can make or mar you. They can build or destroy you. As much as you want to live and enjoy your youth, this is the best time to make decisions that can change the course of your life forever. It can. Earlier, I spoke about parents enrolling their children in boarding schools. This is not entirely bad, as it has its own advantages too. But the environment helps them inculcate survival skills early enough, and they can take up tough challenges and conquer them because they are not being pampered. And also, it is not an environment that gives them what they want, that gives them all they want. Not need. However, it can be detrimental to them because they tend to relax more with their peers and teenagers. And tend to make impulsive decisions. Usually, they will run to their friends to help and advice, and whatever they are told is what they follow. This age group tend to have discussions that excite them, and honestly, they are not to blame because there's a lot of energy at this stage of their life, and energy must be dispersed. The sad part, however, is that this energy is most times used wrongly. We have heard of stories of boys leaving school without prior notice and girls going for parties they should know nothing about. All these are bad side of friendship. At this point, it is left in the hands of individuals to make choices, as they cannot be controlled forever. Sex talk. Largely, parents should discuss this with their children regularly in order to guide them rightly. Aside from parenting, corporate institutions and religious bodies have a role to play in this matter too. At this age and time, it is not wise for anybody to be shying away from such conversations. The media is very much accessible to everyone, and any form of content can be gotten on the internet. Due to the inquisitiveness of young people, they get exposed to a lot of raw materials. They get exposed to a lot of raw materials on the subject matter of sex, such as pornography, music videos that portrays nudity, conversations for married adults, etc. As to the consequences of sex, prostitution, etc. It is the lack of knowledge that leaves them naive and prey to the wicked ones out there. These people come as friends, boyfriends, and girlfriends with the sole purpose of capturing them. If we can catch our young ones early enough, before these people come for them, then we are ready, on the verge of winning this long wage war in our various societies. Chapter 6. Get informed. Change the world. With what has been said so far, I believe a level of awareness and impact has been made. Briefly, this section we talk about the necessity of getting the right piece of information and traveling right. Undoubtedly, if we can have a large percentage of educated individuals and committed non-governmental organizations in each continent, region, and country, then there will be a good scare on its perpetrators, which will ultimately keep them in check. Travel rights. I personally believe that before making my life changing, or rather, before making any life changing step as traveling, one should conduct adequate research on the modalities so as not to fall into the wrong hands. These days, many people, out of desperation, just go to any travel agency, make their payments, and schedule their trip. This is wrong. It is important to check the credibility of this agency, check their past records, know the amount of accidents that they have, know how many people got to their destinations. You should never be in a hurry to book trip, whether by road, to book trips, whether by road, sea, or air. I would have recommended some flight and travel agencies, but I will refrain from doing that because this is a sensitive case. More so, I do not want it looking like I am making adverts for them. Hence, do your due diligence. This will reduce mistakes made in the process, and even things you could have missed out will be clearly seen. I am assured that with the right information and patience, you will get to where you desire. Once more, traveling regularly will only cause traveling irregularly will only cause you harm. Travel the regular way. Becoming ambassadors. If you have ever been a victim of human trafficking or have someone who have suffered this fate, then I believe you should be most passionate about rescuing lives. As much as this is a digital age, many out there are still in a state of total ignorance. It is our duty to teach and admonish it is our duty to teach and admonish people on the right path. And prevention. You have never experienced such trauma. With this level of understanding, you are now in a great position to do that. Spread the news. Join the movement. Post on social media. Create awareness. To maximize our social media usage with platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We can make use of hashtags to create awareness and get individuals and organizations to be part of this movement. The more, the merrier. Exposing high-class individuals. In my introduction, I spoke briefly on how these activities are sponsored by high-class individuals. When I say high-class individuals, I mean politicians, senators, successful businessmen, etc. These people do this for their selfish gains and pleasure. By a collaborative effort by the media, these people can be brought to the limelight and be properly dealt with. Human trafficking is a highly profitable crime, but we should desist from it. Rehabilitation, sustenance, and empowerment. The big question about what saved and rescued victims. There should be adequate preparations to keep and restore them back to the society. And this must be done in such a way that there are no leftover stigmas. This might be hard to achieve, but it is not impossible. We have heard and seen people who went through hell, but were still able to do well later in life. It is our duty, individuals, government, corporate bodies, and NGO, to see to it that while rescuing them, they have a safe environment to return to. If we can have sponsors that will aid the sustenance of their feeding, clothing, medications, and shelter, then we are gradually approaching success. More so, the assistance from the medical field psychologists, and even religious bodies who we serve as volunteers to this cause will go a long way. The intervention of corporate bodies within the past few years. Some decades ago, the eradication of human trafficking seemed like a thing of the past. But at last, history has a way of repeating itself. As we have seen in previous chapters, human trafficking is still an operation in every part of the world. Men, women, and children are being trafficked all around the world. However, steps have been taken by different corporate bodies on how to curb the issues of human trafficking. Some of these include United Nations, Council of Europe Convention, the International Organizations for Migration, IOM. In the early 2000s, the UN General Assembly adopted the UN Convention against transnational organized crime and 3 accompanying protocols called the Palermo Protocol, which is to prevent, suppress, and punish traffic in persons, and happens to be the world primary instrument to combat human trafficking. We set up a victim-centered approach to trafficking. It has since been backed by 177 nations. In 2005, the Council of Europe Tradition on Action Against Trafficking in Human Beings checked a step towards more networking, more noteworthy participation and commitment inside Europe. In February 2008, they delivered a 1.5 million signatures to the UN from people calling for an end to human trafficking. As a result, the founder, Steve Chuck, was appointed UN Special Advisor on Community Action Against Human Trafficking. Since then, they have continued to build. They have continued to build on their grassroots support, firm in the belief that trafficking cannot be stopped by international conventions alone. Their focus is currently geared towards 3 key campaigns. First is Start Freedom, which is their dynamic new global project run in conjunction with the UN that aim to engage and raise awareness among young people. It is among young people, helping them learn about the issues surrounding human trafficking. The other key project at the moment is Active Communities Against Trafficking, ACT, which aims to bring together members of a community under the umbrella of an ACT group. They equip this group with an abundance of resources to help them identify trafficking, understand how it affects local communities, and how to help prevent its continuation. They do this by asking questions about missing children and by forming connections with local authorities, professionals, and community leaders. It is believed that trafficking starts in a community and can be stopped by a community. And as the ACT project takes hold, thank you. As the ACT project takes hold across countries, they are witnessing the profile of trafficking being raised, bringing together a diversity of people to help combat human trafficking in its various guises. The second stage of ACT was launched in 2010. The third central focus is the chocolate campaign, which is informed by the fact that more than a third of the world cocoa comes from Côte d'Ivoire, where child trafficking and forced labor has been widely documented and acknowledged by international initiatives such as International Cocoa Initiative. Since international deadlines for eradicating child trafficking were missed by manufacturers, they decided to campaign themselves by trying to get the big chocolate manufacturer to tell them about their products that are trafficked free. The chocolate campaign encourages people to help spread awareness about child trafficking in the cocoa industry and to pressurize big chocolate manufacturers to commit to certifications such as a fair trade or Rainforest Alliance, which are currently the best guarantees we have to indicate that products are traffic free. Their campaign procedure depended on their various grassroots supporters. Individuals have reasonable exchange chocolate foundry pledge drives, send letters, and make phone calls to producers, boycott brand until they end up with reasonable exchange. They hold awareness, raising occasions to advise and enable others to form moral choices. Intervention of IOM. The International Organization for Migration was fully established in 1951, and as of January 2022, has 174 members, 174 member states, according to their website. IOM mission is complex and includes helping to ensure the orderly and human management of migration. Promoting international cooperation on migration issues. Assisting in the search for practical solutions to migration problems. Providing humanitarian assistance to migrants in need, including refugees and internally displaced people. International Organization for Migration provides protection and assistance to victims of trafficking, ensuring freedom and a chance at a new life. IOM assistance can include self-accommodation, medical and psychosocial support, and assisted voluntary return and reintegration. In 2009, IOM total expenditures were $1.027 billion, supporting 2,360 programs, 7,000 staffs, and 460 field offices in more than 100 countries, including 18 missions with regional functions since 1997. IOM has implemented a total of 757 counter-trafficking projects as part of their work on the border area of migration. As of 6th January 2011, one-third of these projects were ongoing. In line with his own understanding of his mission, promote human and orderly migration for the benefit of all. IOM has taken up the problem of human trafficking and had become a recognized actor in the field of counter-trafficking, particularly with regards to recovery, return, and reintegration of trafficked persons. Where IOM majorly face. The main area of focus in Africa for 2011 counter-trafficking efforts are Angola, Djibouti, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, in Argentina, Paraguay, the Dominican Republic, Guatemala, Mexico, Colombia, and Costa Rica. In Asia, IOM is executing a huge territorial program as well as conducting Pakistan, Thailand, and Vietnam. In Europe, IOM counter-trafficking exercise for 2011 incorporates a territorial project in Eastern and Southeastern Europe, as well as programs in Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Moldova, Albania, Bulgaria, Germany, Kosovo, Norway, the Russian Federation, Turkey, and Ukraine. IOM works in partnership with governments, the United Nations, international and non-governmental organizations, the private sector, and development partners on all aspects of counter-trafficking responses, prevention, protection, and prosecution. Since the mid-1990s, IOM and its partners have provided protection and assistance to close to 200,000 men, women, and children who were trafficked for sexual and labor exploitation, slavery, or practices similar to slavery, servitude or organ removal, agriculture, fishing, domestic work, and hospitality, commercial sexual exploitation, pornography, begging, construction, and manufacturing are some of the sectors in which victims are exploited. IOM encourages the entire international community to engage in the fight against trafficking. It does so by participating in and leading a number of regional and international multilateral processes, including the Interagency Coordination Group against trafficking in person, an alliance. IOM also work with the humanitarian community to ensure that the risk of trafficking is mitigated and addressed from the earliest stage of humanitarian responses. IOM has embraced quantitative and subjective inquiry about human trafficking, supported projects to prevent trafficking through information campaign and attempts to provide an alternative to migration, capacity building, including support for the formulation of national plans of action and anti-trafficking legislation. IOM has implemented almost 500 counter-trafficking projects in 85 countries since 1994 and has provided assistance to over 15,000 trafficked persons. IOM primary aim are to prevent human trafficking, offering them options of safe and sustainable migration and or return. Hope for Africa. We have been able to see so many achievements of the international bodies, from the UN to IOM, in order to protect the interests of every individual on planet Earth against human trafficking and irregular migration. In the few years of the existence of the IOM in Africa at large, here are some of the achievements that has brought great hope for the people of Africa to remain a free human trafficking nation. Although free human trafficking nation, and illegal immigration. In the last few years of the existence of IOM in Africa at large, here are some of the achievements that have brought great hope for the people of Africa to remain a free human trafficking nation, although more strategies are put in place before the end of 2024 to see that Africa remains peaceful and begin to become a center of attraction for growth and development. Some of the key factors that stand as a hope for Africa as a whole is that IOM has been able to contribute to Africa economic and social integration through African Continental Free Trade Agreement and the free movement of persons protocol. They were free movement of persons protocol. They were able to address the challenge related to irregular migration, trafficking in person and smuggling of migrants, and ensure the protection of the most vulnerable irrespective of age. The IOM has been able to increase employment and livelihood opportunities that are gender and youth sensitive. No job should be streamlined to a particular gender, to politics, sports, or entertainment. Everyone should have a free job, should have a free share of job, employment, based on their specific line of interest. They were able to address challenges related to irregular migration, trafficking in person, and smuggling of migrants, and they ensure the protection. And they ensure the protection of the most vulnerable, irrespective of age. In order to make their work more effective, in each of the member states in Africa, they strengthen governments and other key factors, efforts, and capacities to better respond to the drivers of crisis and displacement and to achieve durable solutions. As climate change begins to become the talk of town, the IOM has been able to contribute to government efforts to address challenges related to climate change, as well as environmental degradation, to help achieve the sustainable development goals of Africa. More hope for Africa as the world begins to evolve with innovations and technology. More aspect experience is required and exposure begins to go wider and wider. Chapter 8. Genius of the past, present, and future. As part of the goal to curb human trafficking, illegal migration, and other insecurities in the country, Genius of Global, a foundation-based association which could also be referred to as non-governmental organization, that started in August 2018 based in Edo State, Nigeria, seek to play its part in ending the menace. We are also known to have house achievers through a success-driven program organized to continually improve lives. One of our major motivations to impart life as an organization is to expand the Genius Hub community to become Africa's largest network of successful achievers and change agents. We also implemented the UNICEF communication for development. Then, we also implemented the UNICEF communication for development approach, that is C4D, a core organization program implementation strategy. After studying behavior change communication, social change communication, social mobilization, and advocacy, it helped us in our approach. It helped us in our approach to reducing social vices such as human trafficking and irregular migration, creating awareness on available livelihood opportunities. As an alternative to irregular migration and promoting socio-economic growth through skills acquisition, entrepreneurship development, and access to markets, women and girls empowerment, reintegration, and business support through facilitating loans and grants. Genius Hub Global Initiative is the local implementing partner for the UK Cabinet Office, MADAI, Market Development in the Niger Delta, British American Tobacco Nigeria Foundation, Nigerian Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Person, Edo State Skills Development Agency, Edo Jobs, Edo State Task Force Agents Against Human Trafficking, and Industrial Training Fund. Our operations are split in two ways, that is, division and programs. Under the division are Genius Hub Global Initiative, Genius Hub Junior School Club, and Young Girls Foundation. Genius Hub Global Initiative. This is a non-government organization. One of its major commitments within the society is giving instruction to both the boy and the young lady child without giving unequal prioritization to any gender. we are able to impact more people with the help of other divisions like the junior school club, and Young Girls Foundation. Our aim is pointed at raising path models and creating youthful male child to be self-spurred and confident by engaging them in exercise that will make stride in their academic performance. Junior School Club. This initiative was brought by Juniors Up Global to impact the lives of the younger ones from the age of 5 to 13, to instill character in them, make them become role models or future leaders, and to teach them basic ICT skills to prepare them for real-life experience. We have discovered that most of those who fall victims to human trafficking do so because of a lack of basic knowledge. Some of them do not even see themselves as leaders. And are unable to stand for what they want, rather than being vulnerable to society vices. At Genius Up, we ensure this set of people are impacted with more knowledge, and that would be beneficial to them and their community. Our target audience has been both primary and secondary school in order to catch them young. Young Girls Foundation. At Young Girls Foundation, we are more At the Young Girls Foundation, we are more passionate about the girl-child education and empowering them to eliminate a large number of them being victims of rape or becoming harlots in a strange land. At the Young Girls Foundation, we put extraordinary attention on the young child, enabling the young girl to deliver her a voice in society, boost her confidence, teach her her fundamental human rights as an individual and a girl specifically. We also ensure to provide her with essential sexual education, teach her life management skills, address reproductive issues, and other challenges of the girl child. Also, other challenges of the girl child. We also provide referral services for cases. We also provide referral services for cases of sexual abuse in collaboration with the Child Protection Network, which we are a member of. We have organized over 15 seminars in both universities and secondary schools, including challenges before today adolescents, health and social aspect of adolescence at the University of Benin. A Yoruba phrase meaning wake up is another seminar in partnership with the Society for Health, Drama, and Family Health, with special appearances by Joke Silva, Honorable Elizabeth Ativi, Josephine Aneni, and Grace Osakwe, co-founder of Girls Power Initiative. We are easily accessible for anyone who wants to reach out to us with a case of being sexually abused via the live chat in our website. Lastly, our program and how we've been on the mission keeps the hands of the youth busy. Keeps the hand of the youth busy. So keep the hand of the youth busy, being productive to make good things happen. Skill acquisition and mentorship program. This program aims to provide training that afford our beneficiaries to learn a new skill and develop themselves personally to be able to adapt to the competitive world, irrespective of the type of field they have chosen. At the skill acquisition and mentorship program, we ensure to instill in them the mindset of being an entrepreneur and a solution provider. Also, as a skill acquisition and mentorship program, we believe that as they get busy with making progress in their area of interest, this will limit the number of people looking for shortcuts to success or fast ways of building wealth. Then, we promise you a life-transforming experience, irrespective of your background. We offer numerous skills that are highly valuable for anyone who takes up interest in them. They range from web development, cinematography, digital marketing, internet security, digital multimedia design, acting, painting, catering and decoration, and lots more. Community engagement program. This is one of the most effective ways. We have been able to reach out to more people in rural areas or local communities. Using the communication for development C4D approach. The program involves the use of various communication and media tools for community sensitization, awareness, education, campaign, and community engagement. We use the influence. We use the influence of some of the most influential persons around a particular community, in order to capture a very large audience of people, to educate them and keep them informed about our goals and what we aim at helping them achieve. Community engagement has been effective due to the innovation of technology and the media at large. We spread more information to a broad audience. Genius Hub has designed and carried out the campaign below across more than 31 communities. Some have been completed while others are going. 1. Not for sale. A communication outreach program using billboards, community theaters, town hall, meetings, schools, churches, and mosques engagements, radios and community dialogue to engage people on irregular migration and the tragedies of human trafficking. 2. Community outreach. Using theater art to market women, churches, communications, mosques, etc. Livelihood. Livelihood opportunities through waste to wealth and other key sectors of the economy, agro-business, ICT, and entertainment. Skills to wealth, campaign, cosmetology, fashion designing, hairdressing, and film making piece of training, and trafficking. Anti-corruption handbook for Nigerian youths, a fundamental paradigm for rebranding education, business, politics, and public administration in Nigeria. ISBN 978-978-085-9176, ISBN 978-978-085-9716, written by Tabi H. Joda. Dedication. This book is dedicated to the families and victims of the series of preventable plane crashes, oil spill, road accidents, and to all Nigerians, Africans living in poverty and helplessness caused by corruption. It is also dedicated to all individuals, groups, and institutions who support the anti-corruption revolution in Nigeria. Chapter 1. Introduction. When the founders of Nigeria dispassionately declared Nigerian independence to the world, and the purpose of the Nigerian people to the Almighty, they had dreamt of a nation that would one day rise to the forefront of global excellence. Perhaps for Nigeria to achieve this dream, it will have to make a lot of positive changes in its national life. Not changes for the sake of change alone, but changes that are earnestly and honestly meant to promote, uphold, preserve the best ideas, values, and enabling environment for Nigeria and its people to excel in every domain of life. On 1st October 1960, Nigeria came into the limelight of independence in the Committee of States, gaining freedom from British colonial rule. The nation emerged triumphantly in leadership roles by championing the liberation movement that freed countries like Zimbabwe and South Africa from the ashes of colonialism and apartheid rule. Nigeria is one of the world's most unique nations, with large arable land, and luscious pastures. The country is blessed with abundant human and natural resources, with huge deposits of petroleum, tin, columbite, iron ore, coal, limestone, lead, zinc, natural gas, and hydroelectric energy. Nigeria constitutes an international focal point in terms of human potentials, trade, commerce, military might, and regional security. And of course, is the biggest market in Africa, with an area of 9,223 902 with an area of 923,768 square meter, that is 356,669 square miles. Nigeria is strategically surrounded by francophone nations like Cameroon on the east, sharing one of Africa's longest boundary. From the Atlantic Ocean to the Sahel region of the Lake Chad. Republic of Chad by northeast, Niger Republic in the north and northwest, and Benin Republic bordering bordering the southwest. The ocean cover the southern coastline at the Gulf of Guinea from the coastal streak with Benin Republic to the Limbe Victoria Port in Cameroon. Then, these humans, Nigeria is a culturally diverse nation with over 300 tribal languages and is equally the world's most populous black nation. These human and natural resources make up Nigeria's economic, social, and political riches, and it has over the years precipitated great prestige that pulled a multitude of investors and tourists and business consigned from all over the world into Nigeria by the early 1960s and 70s. The Naira then ranked among the top 10 world's strongest currency then. Agricultural development with vibrant yield in palm oil, cotton, hide and skin, groundnut, and cocoa laying large economic growth for the country. Apart from mining, lumbering, and local technology, crafts work, smithing, weaving. That prospered tremendously. Farming was a thriving business from which more than 70% of Nigerian households earned a living and raised income to run their affairs. It did not only give income, but the prestige of being a farmer was something many Nigerians were proud of. The industry had government. The industry had government attention as farming subsidies were a necessity, not a privilege. The profession was enriching and easy with unbiased government attention. Fertilizers and other farming implements were given to farmers based on necessity for the importance of agriculture in the economy rather than on a selfish basis. This made Nigeria a food basket in Africa. And the country image was upheld all over the world. The nation was a land of milk and honey. Nigerians were happy. People with abundance. The nation made huge supplies of food export to many of its neighboring countries, as well as to Europe, America, and Southeast Asia countries, most of whom depended on Nigerian agricultural produce. Nigeria also made huge food donations to countries where natural disasters, drought, or war has occurred. These are a few of the many factors that gave Nigeria that name, Giant of Africa. The country had an abundance of food and natural resources to feed our people, sell as foreign exchange earning, and share with needy nations for humanitarian purposes. Apart from emerging as a formidable black power, Nigeria played a very significant role in international politics and diplomacy, especially in peacekeeping operations and economic integration at sub-regional, ECOWAS, and regional AU level. Nigeria became an active member of international organizations like ACP, FCDB, CCC, ECA, ECOWAS, FAO, G15, G19, G24, G77, IAEA, IBROD, ICAO, ICC, ICROM, IDA, IFAD, IFC, IFCS, IHO, ILO, IMEF, IMO, INMA, ROS80, HCR, UNIDO, UNICOM, UNITA, UNMIBH, UNMIK, UNMOP, UNMOT, UNO, UPU, WCL, WFTU, WHO, WIPO, WMO, WTO, WTR. With such political strength, military might, and economic buoyancy, the whole world knew then, 10 years after Nigerian independence, the country will only be comparable to nations like USA, UK, and Japan in terms of economic importance, advancement, and technology. Given all these great qualities, it will not have been thought possible that today Nigeria will still be a developing country. The whole world saw a new proper power emerging from the southern hemisphere. Unfortunately, Nigeria ascendancy on the global stage as a variable black power suddenly became foiled by international contradictions. Nigeria had run short of its deserved strength to develop into an advanced nation that nations that depended on Nigeria for economic, political, and military assistance are now great suppliers of both primary and secondary products for Nigeria. For Nigerian market, I am sure that you will make use of electronics and textiles from Malaysia, India, Singapore, and South Korea. Paradoxically, Nigeria got independence at almost same time with them. At almost same time with Singapore, though we cannot completely affix Nigeria on the same scale with Singapore due to unique differences in their nature, but many people convince us to believe that if a country like Singapore, that was rated as a third world nation 15 years ago, is fully developed today using certain workable strategies, then Nigeria cannot be an exception. It just became known that Nigerian cannot be an exception. It just became known. It could also apply the same strategy to solve the myriad of problems that have hindered the nation establishment. To solve the myriad of problems that have hindered the nation development, it is said that if you want to succeed, do what successful people do. It is not about Nigeria imitating Singapore, but it is about imitating Singapore and Malaysia in total, but emulating the good examples which are usually proven to be determinants to successful development, will of course is what this country did to attain development. In spite of great projects and plan that was put in place, in spite of great projects and plan that were put in place, that was put on board after independence has transformed Nigeria on board, and after independence to transform Nigeria into a developed nation, corrupt practices prompted centrifugal and centripeters, forces that organize the various facets of the Nigerian policy. The discovery of petroleum in Nigeria, for instance, diverted government attention from other sectors and it became focused on just with over 75 export earning. We can do this. The discovery of petroleum in Nigeria, for instance, diverted government attention from other sectors to the extent that even agriculture, that constituted the backbone of Nigerian economy, with over 75% export earning, suffered neglect and poor investment. The economy was disarticulated, and the political system disoriented by corrupt citizens. Planned economic and political strategies due for execution became moribund owing to selfish and irrational competition over power and resources. Some Nigerians who rose to position of leadership were more concerned about satisfying their egocentric interests at the expense of the entire nation. The interest for personal wealth building replaced the concern for nation building. Building financial pyramids from states to resources. Some became a common practice among corrupt citizens. Today, the power of money has become the power of all. The crave for foreign accounts in a race among many Nigerians, even though not only corrupt Nigerians launder money into foreign accounts, the idea has become prestigious that even those with legitimate wealth also expatriate money, which would have been used to develop the country into foreign financial institutions for the ownership of luxury houses or hotels in Europe and America. This phenomenon, along with other unpatriotic practices, consequently make out every heavy amount of money from the nation's treasury. A vicious cycle of unaccountable and irresponsible misplacement of Nigerians' wealth continued unabated. The Nigerian treasury soon became empty. Today, this has affected both those who is innocent, it has affected both those in government and those in other sectors. In spite of abundant human and natural wealth, Nigeria is confronted by a mirage of developmental setback as a result of unaccountable leadership and poor choices we all have made. Today, prices of food, commodities, and basic necessities continue to rise at alarming rates beyond our means. Our road network have become dead traps due to poor construction and maintenance. Basic services are alarmingly scarce. Armed robbery attack in communities and on nation's highway is on the rise. Vandalism to public utility is on an increase. Electricity supply is rather a luxury that Nigerians who cannot afford standby generator have to stay for many days, if not weeks, without electricity. A few families who depend on electricity power to run their small enterprise are on the long journey to suffering. Over the years, the Nigerian populace have become seriously disgruntled as many families cannot afford a square meal on the table. Many others cannot provide shelter and medical care for their family. Life has become extremely very difficult, not because the resources are not there, but because some greedy citizens decide to empty the state treasury for their private uses. Unfortunately, looted wealth is hardly ever invested in Nigeria. Rather, it is stashed abroad in foreign banks and foreign financial institutions or businesses with little or no profit accruing to the nation. With this trend of corrupt activities, it was consequentially certain that Nigerians will face this kind of setback we are experiencing now. Many hard-working and patriotic citizens have migrated abroad, saying they are tired of being hungry in a nation with abundance like Nigeria. Internal contradictions distorted International contradictions distorted the great Nigerian dream. Over the years, mutual distrust and effect of long civil military dichotomy amplified into sectional and religious politics. As basic needs became extremely scarce, corrupt citizens used wealth, religion, and regional sentiment as tools to divide the people and to create artificial conflict that they have hampered United development. That they have hampered Nigeria's united development. At a point in time, the North was seen as for Northerners, the South for people from the South, the East for Easterners, and the real Nigeria for nobody. The Nigerian dream is no man's dream any longer. Nigerian development agenda was no longer a development for all, but a chop, I chop affair. Fractions emerged from all quarters of the society. It started the course of what we have today as tribal and ethno-religious rivalry. Unfortunately, ethical values that promote peace, love, and harmonious development was perpetuated by corrupt influences. Nigeria is consequently faced by problem of moral decay, kleptomaniac, negligence, and indiscipline. Today, it is obvious that a Nigerian is either too rich or too poor. Class disparities have grown larger and wider, and such exacerbated artificial poverty and hardship on Nigerians. Corruption has created social disequilibrium that by diverting resources that are meant for development of the general society into private pockets. Corrupt citizens strive to oversatisfy themselves at the expense of the entire citizenry. Greed, self-centeredness, and egoistic interest has consumed the passion of corrupt Nigerians from patriotism and nation building. Nobody wants to do anything for the sake of the country. Corrupt urges lure people to amass illegitimate wealth for themselves by any means available. Infrastructure development is not taken serious except in case where the project will accrue selfish benefit to those involved. Cheating and fraud has taken over the entire Nigerian system. By and large, it became evident that Nigeria was sitting on a ticking time bomb that will kill millions of lives, render millions of Nigerians hungry, destroy the healthcare system, weaken the education sector, destabilize Nigerian democracy, tarnish the nation's reputation, demoralize the youth, paralyze the economy, shaking our unity, and make Nigeria a poor and helpless nation. The bomb of corruption has exploded, and all Nigerians are feeling the consequences. Today, Nigeria is not as it used to be 5 decades ago. Certainly, corruption has created untold suffering in Nigeria. What is corruption? Corruption is not only about stealing or extorting money and properties by leaders as commonly known. It includes any form of behavior that deviates from ethics, morality, tradition, law, and civic virtues by any individual or group, no matter their status in the society. Whether you are a civil servant, a student, a politician, a carpenter, a driver, a military general, or wife of a president or governor. When your actions go against the basic norms and regulations, you are involved in corruption. If you eat your banana and throw the pee on the street, or use the toilet in your school or office without flushing it, then you are guilty of corruption. If you fail to do your official assignment diligently, or you execute a contract using inferior products, then you are a corrupt citizen. The word corruption is derived from the Latin word corruptus, meaning to destroy. According to the online general concept, corruption is a general concept describing any organized interdependent system in which I can sleep. Describing any organized interdependent system in which part of the system is either not performing duties it was originally intended to, or performing them in an improper way at the detriment of the system. Original purpose. It could mean a situation where one influences the decision-making process of a public officer. Or authority. Or when individuals or organizations unjustly profit from an activity such that it causes damages or losses for the general society. The United Nations Development Project defines corruption as the misuse of public power, office, or authority for private benefit. The United Nations Development Program defines corruption as the misuse of public power, office, or authority for private benefit through bribery, extortion, influence peddling, nepotism, fraud, speed business, speed money, or embezzlement. UNDP 1999. This assertion, however, is very holistic because it includes not only bureaucratic and political corruption, but also private sector corruption. The private sector is involved in most cases of government corruption, such as the misuse of money or favors for personal gain, abuse of officials, authorities, or influence. In exchange for money or favors and violation of the public interest to acquire special personal advantages. UNDP 1999 7. Chapter 2. Corruption in Nigeria. What's my time? My time not to be. Corruption is a widespread phenomenon in Nigeria and has very negative effects on the aspect of national life. The need to eradicate these practices from Nigeria is of fundamental concern. Thus, this book intends to highlight the consequences of corruption to young Nigerians who are the future leaders of the nation and definitely the most victimized group by corruption. The forefathers of Nigerians had a dream for a great and prosperous Nigeria. They knew that Nigeria will one day have to change into a nation with great and prosperous people. Thank you very much. I'll be going for my rest break. We are reading the book, Anti-Corruption Handbook for Nigerian Youth.